Welcome back to J&J Fantasy Flyers. I'm Joey.
And I'm Jason, helping you soar above the competition.
Soar above the competition. Well, Jason, it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's okay to have you back.
Yeah, I'm sure you missed me a little bit there. I was up climbing the mountains in Nebraska on a hunting trip. Kind of a funny thing happened to me out there pertaining to fantasy football. For those of you that don't know, the place that I went in Nebraska is a small town, population of 2. It was 3, but the brother moved away. So now it's just 2. But so long story short, I didn't get cell coverage anywhere that I went there, as you know, trying to text me and let me know different things that were going on. So I would have to climb all the way up to the top of the mountain to get just a little bit of cell coverage. So I climbed all the way up there and I found out Jay Ajayi's been traded to the Eagles. I think you gotta be kidding me.
I tried texting you as soon as it
I got it. And I seen that somebody had sent me an offer for him. It was Jay Ajayi for Demaryius Thomas and Kelvin Benjamin. I was like, wow, I really need a wide receiver. I'm not a big fan of guys getting traded in the middle of the season, especially a running back.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pull the trigger on it.
What about receivers getting traded in the middle of the season?
Well, this is where the story gets interesting. So I complete the trade. I was happy with it. I traded Ajayi, whatever. He's not a Dolphin anymore. I don't care. So I climbed down, all the way down off the mountain, go into the lodge that we were staying on. I turn on television, take my boots off, my socks off, I take my backpack out and get ready for the evening hunt. And the next thing I know, I hear them talking about Kelvin Benjamin on the television. Wasn't paying any attention, and I said, well, the newest member of the Buffalo Bills, and I look up. And I'm like, what? And it says, breaking news, Kelvin Benjamin traded to the Buffalo Bills. Long story short, I was so upset, so frustrated. I walked back up that mountain, got up there about half an hour after I got up there, to call the guy that just traded and say, hey, I don't want to do that trade. I didn't know Kelvin Benjamin was in the Bills. It just happened, blah, blah, blah. He goes, when you accepted the trade, he was in Carolina, he goes, I'm not redoing the trade. Thanks for Ajayi, and hangs up. I'm furious. I'm flipping. I was going to call the commissioner, saying, I don't want to do the trade. This is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, my phone, the wind changed. I didn't get cell coverage. So now I got Kelvin Benjamin.
Well, that sucks.
Live it. First of all, poor Ajayi's off the Dolphins, even though I think it's a good move for the Dolphins themselves. But
yeah, I mean, where it is, he was just not good for the team.
Just a liability. I'm worried about his clothing line more than I guess the playbook. But I guess that'll get you cut.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that with the clothing line? I was reading something when I got on my way back from Nebraska that said that he was launching like all this off the field stuff, like a clothing line and this and that. They never studied the playbook. He said that the runs that he was doing, he was trying to hit a home run all the time instead of just taking a 3-4 yard gain.
I heard about that.
And Gase was getting sick of it, man. See you later. Adam Gase's show. It's kind of like how I run my fantasy team. You put up or shut up.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I just want to bring attention to here one thing, because I was not here to let you all know on how bad I beat Jason in our Dynasty League. I believe the final score was 130-something to you put up 60? 61?
Like yeah, I mean, you can't mention the fact that as AJ got ejected, Brady was on bye.
AJ should have got an extra point for that choke slam.
He should have got 10 extra points because, I mean, that was a
good for him.
Yeah. I mean, he choked him out pretty good, but I mean, it is what it is. I had a lot of guys on bye. I was expecting a loss that week.
You know what
not that bad, but
you know what the best part about that whole moment was? Is that when I finally climbed to the top of the mountain to see that I had won, was the fact that I knew how bad you wanted to beat me, and it wasn't even close.
I've been talking about that match since like week 4 or 5, yeah. So
that felt pretty good. Well, hopefully we meet again in the championship game, because that's the next time you're going to see me. So, anyways, we're going to move on to week 11 and stuff that really matters, since obviously everything else was in the past. And
if you're still watching, we'll continue on.
Yeah, I know I got a lot of catching up to do, seeing this is going to be my first week watching football in forever. But I'll tell you what, I was able to catch the Dolphins playing the Panthers last night, and that made me wish I was back in Nebraska, that's for sure.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, ouch, ouch, ouch. But anyways, we're going to dive right into this here. We're going to start with our quarterback rankings here. And, hey, we're going to start off the list here with your guy.
My guy. And yeah, I mean, I really just want to talk about Drew Brees. I mean, he hasn't been Drew Brees.
But is it?
Of old,
He hasn't needed to be.
He hasn't needed to be, and that's it. I mean, but he's a guy, and I think there's people, question, oh, do I play Drew Brees? Do I play? Yeah, you play Drew Brees because if the game script ever comes down to it, they need to put the game in his hands. We all know he's capable of putting up big numbers. I mean, he's still the number 12 quarterback so far this year. I mean, yeah, he's been kind of disappointing. He didn't top 200 yards,
but at least
for the second time this season.
At least his team's good, though.
His team's good. He ran you a touchdown last week, which is pretty sweet.
But don't count your chickens on that one, no.
No, but I mean, he's got a pretty good, schedule going forward the rest of the way. I mean, he faces the Rams and Carolina, who, are tougher matchups, but they're beatable defenses at the same time.
I don't think there's really, I guess I would say the Saints and the Rams are right up there with some of the hottest teams in the NFL. And
absolutely. And
I think that, I like Drew Brees, to be honest with you. I've been trying to get him off a couple guys just for that late push. I hate to say it because Marcus Mariota's kind of, I don't know. I still like him.
He looked good. He looked back. He was getting his normal form last week, though, Mariota. I'll say that about him.
But like I said, I'm just trying to work out maybe a couple things. I think Drew Brees is a top 3 quarterback going forward. I definitely agree with you.
And I mean, more so on this week. I mean, Washington's a 22nd ranked defense against fantasy quarterbacks in fantasy because I don't think they play fantasy quarterbacks. Probably come up with some pretty sweet fantasy quarterbacks, right?
Like Shane Falco.
Shane Falco.
That's a name you're not going to hear on any other podcast.
Somebody carries around a sword.
You never watched The Replacements?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say we were about to J&J. We're about ready to split here real quick.
Anyways, we keep getting off here.
Water boy on you.
Drew Brees, and then we'll jump over to your guy, which I actually like.
How can you not?
And a lot of people, man, he started the season as the number 1 quarterback. A lot of people expected regression to the norm for him, and it just really hasn't happened yet.
No, it's Alex Smith. I mean, Alex Smith is a surefire in your lineup every week, number 1 quarterback. He's top 5 all across the board. He's going up against the 32nd ranked Giants defense, who just got torched by Jared Goff and C.J. Beathard. C.J. Beathard beat hard. But Beathard and Goff combined for a 143.3 quarterback rating. If he could do it, Alex Smith's going to have a field day. To be honest with you, in any daily league, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better stack than Alex Smith and Travis Kelce. I think them two together going against the Giants defense, let's face it, the Giants are not good. They've already shifted in, and I think they're already on the phone with the athletic director or the head coach of UCLA to see what Josh Rosen is doing, because that's who they're.
You just see, man, some of these guys not trying to make tackles.
I mean,
they're just.
Jack Rabbit's pretty good too. So for him to get burned like that,
I mean, there's just I can't think of the name. Is it Jenkins?
It's Jack Rabbit.
Just letting some of these guys just running right by him and then trying to throw an arm in last second is just it's horrible. It's bad.
I am shocked. I wish that I could be as bad at my job as Ben McAdoo is and keep my freaking job. Because wow, is he bad. I think Tyreek Hill goes off this week too. I mean, you've seen what San Francisco did against them. I mean, it's just Alex Smith's a no-brainer. If I didn't have Tom Brady and Carson Wentz, I'd say Alex Smith's the number 1 guy this week, and it's not even close. So yeah, I mean, you're starting Alex Smith. You feel good about it. And to be honest with you, if you have Alex Smith, he's your starting quarterback until he proves why not. Otherwise. Moving on, we're going to go right to the guy who torched the Giants a couple weeks ago, and that's your guy, Jared Goff, who is also on my practice squad for our Dynasty League, in case you're interested in the trade.
I'm not really interested in it.
Should be.
Now, Goff is the 10th ranked quarterback, and he takes on Minnesota, which I know is kind of a tough matchup.
Kirk Cousins had a pretty good game.
Cousins had a good game, and I feel like Minnesota might be concentrating on trying to stop that run game and maybe stopping Gurley. I think gives Goff an opportunity to show off maybe a little more of a skill set, try to make Goff beat him. And I think Goff probably has an opportunity. If he doesn't beat him, I mean, he's going to put up some numbers because, I mean, Minnesota has a pretty
They got the corners. I mean, they definitely got the talent.
Yeah, and their offense can put up a ton of points too. So I could see this being a high-scoring game. You could go back and forth.
Well, the Rams have performed against every other team. What's to say that there's it's going to be any different against Minnesota?
It's true.
I mean, I don't know. It's a bad matchup for Todd Gurley on paper, but I mean, is there ever really a bad matchup? I mean, are you sitting Todd Gurley in any league?
No, and I don't think you should. I think Jared Goff should be pretty much a week-to-week starter for you at this point. I mean,
he's a borderline QB1 for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 7 touchdowns the past 2 weeks. Almost 800 yards. I mean, the Giants, I guess, and then Houston, which isn't a bad defense. I mean, they're not as good as they used to be because they don't have the pass rush. But
yeah, there's a lot of injuries there. But still, I mean, it's definitely something. It's definitely something to monitor. I like Jared Goff, to be honest with you. I like him better than my pick this week, and that's Jay Cutler. Miami's been pretty bad. Cutler's been looking pretty good with some garbage time points. Just to go off the garbage time, I mean, Blake Bortles at one time was a top 5 quarterback in fantasy football because of garbage time. If you're down this low or you got quarterbacks on a bye, you got the bye weeks here for us, right? Anyways, with that,
I'm sorry, what?
The bye weeks with the teams that are on a bye.
Yes, Houston, Indianapolis, Carolina. I think there's one more, and San Francisco.
Gotcha. So, I mean, if you do have Cam Newton or really no other quarterback on any of that, but Cutler could be a sneaky play. They are going back at home. Tampa's giving up about 18 points per game to opposing quarterbacks. And I think their secondary can be had. Miami's got to turn around here, especially the offense. It's not somebody you feel good about starting, but you could do, I believe you could do a little worse than Jay Cutler. Moving on, though, because I don't even want to talk about it. In the same game, I'm going to continue here. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick could be a sneaky play. Dolphins' pass defense has been a little soft. Mike Evans is coming back. And I don't think that Doug Martin and that running game is going to be able to get going. So I actually think this game is actually kind of a shootout. I got both teams scoring in high 20s. Miami is ranked 14th against opposing quarterbacks. So it's kind of not that great of a matchup for Fitzpatrick. However, being with the Jets, he's played Miami, being with the Buffalo Bills, he's been familiar with it. I think he'd give you a pretty decent game if you're throwing a dart that late.
I'll tell you what, man, the one bright spot I actually enjoyed watching last night was seeing the safety back for the Dolphins. TJ McDonald there.
Yeah.
He looked tough.
Yeah, that's why they signed him for 4 years.
He looked tough, man. I think he'll definitely help bolster that defense. But I agree that I think Fitzpatrick. I think I talked about Fitzpatrick last week as a sleeper. He's yeah.
He's a guy.
Serviceable quarterback. There we go.
He's a dart throw.
But anyways, it's funny you pick Cutler and Fitzpatrick in the same game, and I'm talking about Case Keenum in the same game as Jared Goff. And I really want to talk about Case Keenum, not necessarily.
Is he going to be the starter?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. And the coach hasn't even announced a starter yet. He's not committed to any guy yet. And I just want to say, I think personally it'd be a mistake for them to turn to Bridgewater at this point. He was decent when he went out, and he's got the high draft pick and stuff, but he wasn't exactly, blowing it up. He wasn't Cam Newton when he went out. He wasn't Dak Prescott when he got hurt. So I don't see a real reason to turn away from Case Keenum. They're winning games. He's not killing you. He had 2 interceptions last week, but he had 4 touchdowns. So I think his outlook is, I think it's good. He's got some good weapons catching the ball, and he's going to put it downfield for him to catch. And Teddy Bridgewater comes in. I think he's going to hurt those guys a little more because he's not one to launch the ball downfield. He's more of a dink and dunk type of passer.
I agree.
And I hope they keep Case Keenum. And if Case Keenum is your starter, I think he's a solid play for you if you're hurt, if you're dealing with a bye week, or you're dealing with Rodgers out or Watson injury or one of the other hundreds of injuries that happened this year.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm definitely with you on that one. So let's take a quick look here and see. I think Keenum. I think he's going to. I think he's going to be the starter. I don't see. Minnesota's rolling right now. I don't see how they can start Bridgewater, like you said. So other than that, that's really our quarterbacks here this week. I just want to throw out one other big name here that I think could be a little bit of a sleeper play this week, And I think that's Tyrod Taylor, just coming off of the bad week that he had. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a Tyrod Taylor fan, but I've seen it 1,000 times. You know, you write him off. He's not the most, liked person in Buffalo right now. I see him having a sneaky game. But I'm not going to put anything on that. So
he lost me a week last week.
Well, hey.
I might have to roll with him anyways by default. So.
Do you have anybody else? All right, then.
No, actually, yeah. Keep your eye, not for this week, but going forward, because the Niners are on a bye, but keep your eye on Jimmy Garoppolo. I know the coach there said that he's not going to play him this year. There's a good chance he doesn't play. It'd be dumb not to play him. He's a free agent at the end of this year. You're going to want to see what you got in Garoppolo before you offer him an extension before next season. It doesn't make sense to bench him. So just keep your eye on Garoppolo. I picked him up in our Dynasty League a couple weeks ago as soon as he was traded. He's, you saw what he did for, New England, playing behind Brady and stuff. He could be good. He could be real good.
Or he could be like Matt Kessel. But moving on.
Jake Locker.
Two different things.
Jake Locker. Anyways.
Well, Jared Goff is my new Jake Locker. So, hey, 1 for 2 is not bad. Anyways, we're going to go right over to our running backs. And, man, I'll tell you what, when I got back home from Nebraska, the best news that I had as soon as I got cell coverage was seeing the Buffalo Bills getting absolutely destroyed by the Saints ground game. Oh, my goodness. Got on Facebook for the first time in 2 weeks. Wow. Yeah. Were they upset. And, man, there's nothing better in this world than when the Bills get blown out. And the fact that the guy that streaked across the field had more yards than the Bills rushing offense. That is awesome. I'll tell you what, that was the best thing I could possibly come home to. And I think Melvin Gordon's going to do it again this week. Well, let's be completely honest with you. The Bills are 31st against the run. I think both Saints backs went over 100 yards. But, come on now. They're
6 rushing touchdowns.
A piece? Or together?
The Saints as a team had 6 rushing touchdowns. I think Ingram had 3.
I know Kamara had
1. They had the other. I think their 6th-string running back.
Glasgow?
No, it was. Never even heard the dude.
I seen they signed Jonathan Williams,
and then Breeze had a rushing touchdown.
That's not good. I'll tell you what. I wish Buffalo still had Marcel Darius. Plug that middle, because I'll tell you what. I watched a couple of highlights of that game just because I was so excited to see them get smoked like that, and I think I could have ran for at least 50 yards. Don't get me wrong, I'd have been winded, but I think I could have did.
I could have made it. No, I think Gordon's a good play. Look, he's done really well in his positive matchups, and he struggled in his harder matchups. I think. And I don't necessarily think it's his fault. He doesn't have the best line in front of him. The only thing I would say is Philip Rivers in the concussion protocol. So if he's out, there's a good chance they might just stack the box on him and make whoever's their second-string quarterback beat him. I also add in, don't worry about Austin Eckler. He's just there to...
I do like Austin Eckler, though. If anything were to happen to Gordon...
Oh, yes, absolutely. But, it's still Gordon's job. It's going to happen sometimes. Every single team, some guy's going to pop up and get a touchdown or two. I would not worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But moving on, I kind of, sneaky play, man. He got a lot of love at the beginning of the season. He's kind of been tanking a little bit, but you like him this week, huh?
I do. He's got a positive matchup this week against the aforementioned Giants defense.
You're going to see a trend here. We thought it was the Jets at the beginning of the year. Turns out it's the Giants.
Yeah, one of those New York teams. He hasn't scored a touchdown since week 3. He's still getting some, they're still getting the touches and yardage. The yardage has been down the past couple weeks. But it's the Giants. We love him this week. He's going to get the carries.
I think he's going to get a lot of PPR work, too.
Yeah, that's, I think, what made him pretty good at the beginning of the year. Even he was getting some, those catches out of the backfield. And the Giants' defense is allowed 30.5 fantasy points per game over the past 2 weeks to running backs.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's money right
there. Coming off the bye, so he's going to be coming in. If he, maybe he was hitting that rookie wall. I think that bye is going to help him rejuvenate. The kid's good, obviously.
What we're trying to tell you here is big week from Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
If there's a Kansas City, to be honest with you, I'll wait. was gonna say a little dark horse sleeper, but we'll continue here. Yeah, I think Kareem Hunt's a pretty good play this week. He's pretty solid. He's definitely in your lineup, and I think he puts up a pretty good week. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of upset here with you, Jason, because you beat me to my you're actually number 2 running back guy I want to talk to, especially because the lead guy's out. I think he's gonna fill in and take even a bigger role. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, Tevin Coleman, like I said, we mentioned Devontae Freeman went out with a concussion early on in the game. I mean, Coleman got 20 carries. I mean, he's only seen more than 10 carries once this year. Now he got 14 against the Jets. He went 14 for 82. He went 20 for 83 last week against Dallas. I mean, he really strives out of the backfield catching the ball, even though he hasn't really done too much of that this year. I mean, early in the year he did. And in the past 4 or 5 games, he's only got, 1 reception. If he's the only guy there, he's going to start getting more receptions. He's going to get all the bulk of the carries. I mean, yeah, it's at Seattle, which can be a tough matchup. But then they could also put the ball in his hands to help carry the. Is it on me?
Yeah, it's on your back.
Jeez. He could also put the ball in his hands to help carry the load.
Stink bugs, man, they're everywhere.
Carry the load in Seattle.
The New York Giants just signed these guys, man. They actually start getting some coverage going on. But yeah, no, I definitely hear you. I definitely like. Yeah, he picked up Hooper. But yeah, I like Tevin Coleman here going forward.
Let's not forget this was Coleman's job 2 years ago. Before he missed a couple weeks and Freeman blew it up. So.
No, I think I think he's ranked appropriate. I mean, what Tevin Coleman is.
I think he's number 10.
Number 10 on our rankings. I think he's a top 10 back with Devontae Freeman not there. Absolutely, 110%. I'm on the Tevin Coleman train. And I'm going to tell you another one that nobody else seems to be on board with this guy. I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, diehard Miami Dolphins fan, and it's Damian Williams. Everybody's Kenny Drake. I don't know why. I mean, Damian Williams is a starter running back. He's going to get more of the PPR work. I don't think they're going to feed the ball enough to where any running back's going to be relevant on the ground. I mean, minus Kenyon Drake breaking off that, 60, 70-yard run?
And I think that's why people are on Kenyon Drake. I think he's more explosive.
Maybe. He's
higher profile.
And give me the guy who's going to catch 4 or 5 balls. I mean, when the Dolphins drop back, Collard's looking to the backs. The backs are going to get a lot of catches. I think a lot of that is Damian Williams. And eventually, the running game's got to get going just a little bit, just to open up some holes. And they're going up against Tampa. They're 28th ranked against opposing running backs. I love Damian Williams this week. I think he's a sneaky play. Gets 6 catches for like 40 yards. I think he gets a reception touchdown this week. I think he adds about 30 yards rushing. And for really his price tag, you could put him in as your flex. Your running back 2, running back 3. I think you're going to get solid production on him. I don't know why people are so down on him. I know every league that I was in, everybody was taking Kenyon Drake, and I just sat back and took Damian Williams, and I'm more than happy with it. Did you get Drake or Williams in any league?
Honestly, I didn't even try to. I didn't think it mattered.
Yeah, that's true.
I really didn't. It's bad, but yeah, I'm gonna jump right at that. I mean, I agree what you're saying about Williams, but I still think Drake's the guy.
I disagree, but that's cool.
So yeah.
Remember when I beat you by double your score?
Oh,
Just saying. I had Damian Williams in that line.
Anyways, Rex Burkhead. Old Berkey.
Who?
Rex Burkhead.
Who?
Rex Burkhead. Look, I mean,
this is ranked.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, at 26.
This is the guy.
Is his name really Rex?
Yes.
First name.
Yes.
Like on the birth certificate.
I don't know what his mom named him. Might be T-Rex. He dropped a T.
And a dash.
No, but I mean, the Patriots picked him up this offseason to be their guy before the Gillislee and everything else, and he got injured early in the season. I mean, Gillislee was a healthy scratch last week.
I want to interject here. 1 second. The only reason why I say this is, as a league commissioner, as I am, I was very gracious enough to send out a text message to say when the trade deadline is. Okay? The fact that I am still getting text messages saying, hey, can we trade? Hey, can we trade? The website says we can trade. No, you cannot. The trade deadline is week 9. All trades have to be accepted by week 9. How many text messages did I send out before I went to Nebraska that said week 9 is the trade deadline?
1. But the website does say that. So
it doesn't matter.
It can be confusing.
Listen to the text messages, people. Continue.
It can be confusing. Anyways, the Rex Burkhead.
Ooh.
Yes. I mean, he got 10 touches last week, 36 yards, but he's getting catches out of the backfield as well. Getting 7 receptions, 3 receptions against a tough Denver defense. He led the team in snaps, and he was just one shy of leading the team in carries, which gave that to Deion Lewis. And the thing I like about Rex Burkhead is he's a can-do-it-all guy.
Burkhead?
Whatever. Burkhead.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he did look pretty good. I mean,
he runs, he catches, he plays special teams, he can block punts now.
I really think he's got Tom Brady's trust.
And he does. I mean, he's one of those, he reminds me of Julian Edelman, Wes Welker type guy who shows up, gives 110% on every single play, and that's the type of guy the type of attitude that earns you playing time and touches on the Patriots.
Yeah, and the fact that you're a white running back, you almost have to do that stuff to get a job.
You do. And I mean, not to mention going against the Raiders, allowing 110 yards per game to backfield, just that 4th highest mark so far this year.
I think there's going to be a high scoring game, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Rex Burkhead is more of a PPR running back than a regular, right? Or would you feel comfortable starting him in a standard scoring league as well?
I mean, I would feel, because he's actually getting more carries now than receptions. So, last week he only got 1 reception, 10 carries. So, I think his upside is in a PPR league, though, yes.
I understand.
But I think I would feel safe starting him in both, because I think he's going to give you a solid, 80 total yards. And then whatever in the PPR he's going to throw in those couple extra receptions and stuff. So go ahead.
I'm going to ask you a question here. I'm not sure if you remember way back when in the off-season when we were watching the scouting combine and the draft went on, and I told you who my sleeper running back for the year was. Do you remember? I know we went over this in our production meeting, so don't cheat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who you said, but I know who the guy is you're about to talk about, so I could guess.
You don't remember talking about Samaje Perine? When he went to Washington, I told you I think Rob Kelly's going to lose his job, Perine's going to take over.
That was a long time ago.
I
might remember that.
Anyways, Kelly's on the IR. He's out for the year. It's Perine's time to shine. I mean, let's be real. Now, I think, Perine is more standard scoring at, goal line work, stuff like that. But I think he could be a serviceable running back here for you going forward. He's going to get most of the carries. I mean, Chris Thompson's still there. He's going to take a lot of the PPR work. And Perine's probably the number 2 running back on that team. However, I don't know. I think you do worse than Samaje Perine.
Do you think it's Perine, or does it just all go to Chris Thompson?
I think it's Perine. If you look at what when Kelly was out before, Perine got a lot of the work. He did it at Oklahoma with it was him and Mixon.
I do agree, because they do try to limit Thompson's touches because he's like a toothpick.
Mm-hmm.
He's very fragile. He's being a smaller guy.
I just think you get Perine, get him on your roster. If anything else, it prevents the other guy from getting them. Can't use him against you.
Yeah, you never know.
And running back's pretty thin. I mean, who knows?
You never know. He could be, even if he's a top 15 running back the rest of the season for him.
Yeah.
That's a solid pickup.
Yeah, and if you look at our running backs from, let's just say, running back 11 to running back 18, I mean, you got Jerick McKinnon, DeMarco Murray, Chris Thompson, Jay Ajayi, Lamar Miller, Adrian Peterson, Amir Abdullah, Orleans Darkwa. I mean, come on. If Samaje Perine can't beat out Orleans Darkwa, I mean, come on. I can see him right in there. I'll make a bold statement. I think Samaje Perine ends up in our top 20 rankings next week. Just get him on your rosters.
It's real bold.
Yeah, kind of like Ajayi finishing his top 3 pick.
Pretty bold stuff there.
You were wrong. I hope.
Anyways, wide receivers. Oh,
That hit me in the foot.
that's all. I don't need it. So let's jump into wide receivers here. I think I'll just go ahead and talk about my guy here, who is the number 6 wide receiver on the year. I bet you could not guess without cheating and tell me who the number 6 wide receiver so far is in PPR leagues.
Well, since I know who it is, I know I would not have guessed him. I would say if I had to take a random guess, though, knowing that I would not have picked the guy that you said, I would have picked Adam Thielen.
Yeah, you definitely be wrong because he's number 3. But it's Golden Tate.
Who?
Golden Tate for the Detroit Lions. I mean, he's been solid, man. I mean, 7 for 96, 7 for 86, 7 for 113, 6 for 97. 2 touchdowns over that 4-game stretch. He's
really? Man, who's got Tate in that? Look it up.
He's been solid, man.
Sneaky solid.
And he's just gonna keep getting the production there. I think Kenny Galladay coming back is gonna hurt Marvin Jones, not Golden Tate, because I think Marvin Jones and Galladay are kind of the same player.
Yeah.
Stafford trusts Tate, and I think is the same thing last year. I think Tate's really only had a couple bad games, and he's just not getting the love he deserves. I know he's got a kind of a tough matchup this week, going against the 13th ranked defense at Chicago, which it's hard to believe Chicago was the 13th ranked defense against fantasy wide receivers, but
yeah, I guess that makes sense.
So yeah, I like him this week. Stafford's been solid. It's the whole offense has just been sneaky good besides Dula. But
remember when you traded Stafford for Andrew Luck?
Stafford in 2 seconds.
Mike Evans. That's what I'm going with. After his, I don't want to say his suspension for his antics on the sideline, that we as J&J Fantasy Flyers do not condone. And the only reason is because we don't want him to be suspended for the week. Other than that, we could care less who he punches, who he hits, why he hits him, whatnot. The only thing that we were severely offended by was AJ Green's choke slam.
Offended? I loved it.
I loved it even more because he got ejected. And I blew you out by double your score. Anyways, going forward here, Mike Evans going up against the Miami Dolphins, which means he is going to absolutely torch them. He's on a warpath. Because he got suspended, I think he's got something to prove. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick hits him multiple times. Miami is 14th against opposing wide receivers. However, I think a wide receiver like Mike Evans is somebody who will be able to exploit the Dolphins' defense. Their pass has been very soft here going forward in the past couple weeks. They're not playing prime time though, so they will actually probably be a little bit better. Mike Evans is in your lineup. Let's not get cute here. He's still one of the best wide receivers in football, bar none. So get him in the lineup. He's your number 1 wide receiver probably going forward. And that's it. That's that.
All right. Now, when is Mike Evans going to start getting knocked down our weekly rankings to match his production this year?
What do you mean? It's Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Okay,
let me ask you this. How many times has Mike Evans had 100 yards receiving this year?
Not once.
Not once. How many times has he gone over 75?
1, 2, 3.
Oh, you're a cheater. 3 times. He's just... he's a solid
player.
Well,
look at his numbers. 22, 13, 17, 9, 18, 21, 11, 2.3. Minus that, he's got a couple clunkers, but if you think about it, though, for a wide receiver 1, he's about as consistent as they come. His big weeks are still going to come eventually. Jameis Winston not being there, I think, hurts him a little bit. However, Mike Evans is in your lineup. There's no way that you could talk me out of starting Mike Evans.
I'm not saying you should not start him. I'm just saying that I think maybe he needs to get out of the top 5 in our weekly rankings a little bit.
But let's put it like this. Would you start Brandon Cooks over Mike Evans? Do you start Tyreek Hill over Mike Evans?
This week, probably.
If you had to play one, you would start Tyreek Hill over Mike Evans.
This week.
I don't think you could do it. I don't think you pull the trigger on it. Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, Stephon Diggs, Larry Fitzgerald, Des Bryant.
But why wouldn't you? At some point, you got to take this year's production into account. I get he's Mike Evans, but it's the same thing as Jordy Nelson at this point.
It's not the same thing as Jordy Nelson, because Jordy Nelson losing Aaron Rodgers is huge. Jordy Nelson.
He doesn't have Jameis Winston this week.
Yeah, but he's still,
Fitzpatrick?
With Fitzpatrick.
Last week.
Well, he didn't have Mike Evans.
Oh.
Let's be real. It's not like Mike Evans put up a goose egg because he was out there playing.
Yeah, but Deshaun Jackson and Goodwin, I think, had decent.
But they're not Mike Evans. I think about it, man. You can't lose your stud wide receiver. All right, we'll put a friendly bet on it. I bet you Mike Evans outscores any wide receiver that you chose.
I'm going to pick one.
Pick one. Your choice. Right now. Wait, what's the bet? What's the wager?
I don't know. I mean, I'll do Tyreek Hill just because we mentioned his name.
I'll bet you lunch.
Okay.
Heard it here first. Jason's going to owe me lunch next week.
Come on, Tyreek, baby.
And Tyreek is going to have a pretty good game, too. But, go Mike Evans. Anyways, we're moving on to our number 2. And actually, while I'm here, since I'm the commissioner of the league, I know you had talked about calling up Juju Smith-Schuster. Do you call him up this week, or do you let him, keep him on that practice squad?
I don't know, man. Here's my dilemma is I need all the firepower I can get. I called up Aaron Jones thinking he's going to do something for me. He didn't do much. Martin has been not near what I expected. And I got a Jai who I hope does something. And I'm really hurting for a flex position, or my flex spot right now, I got Amari Cooper. Juju's been very tough. And I think my question is Juju supplanted Antonio Brown as a number 1? I mean, 7 for 90, 193 and a touchdown, 5 for 97 and a touchdown. Now, Antonio Brown has given you 5 for 70 and 3 for 47. The week before that, 4 for 65. I mean, I know it's stupid to say. I'm kind of being facetious.
Antonio Brown is a little bit. Antonio Brown is the second-ranked wide receiver football right now. Just so you know.
I get it, but I mean, my point is Juju's been very good.
He's been very good. I think Juju Smith-Schuster has taken over the Martavis Bryant role.
Absolutely.
That we expected Bryant to take.
I think he's been better because Bryant has always been boomer bust even when he was good. I think Juju gives you a safe floor. I think he's a mix between a Bryant and like a.
You know who Juju really reminds me of watching him play? Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah.
Yep. If I had to pick a comparison, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. It reminds me of Keyshawn Johnson.
It's a good comparison, I guess.
But are you gonna call him up or no?
I really don't know yet, man. That's a decision I got to make before Sunday, but I don't know.
You gotta let me know before Thursday.
Why?
Pittsburgh plays Thursday night against Tennessee.
Oh, snap. Digital. Well, I might call him up then just so I have somebody to watch.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton, right there.
It makes it so much more fun.
It does. I got Mariota going up against that 5th-ranked pass defense.
24th ranked defense. Tennessee.
Speaking of Thursday night, and I'll make you another friendly bet, so we double down here on lunch. I bet you Corey Davis outscores Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh, I'll do that one.
All day long?
Yeah.
2 lunches. You heard it here first. Corey Davis is going to go off this week. This is breakout game prime time. I think Corey Davis has 6 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown. He's going to beat Juju Smith-Schuster. It's a horrible matchup for Corey Davis, Marcus Mariota. This is the week they get it going. I love Corey Davis. I'm playing him in, well, not any FanDuel lineups or DraftKings because I don't do Thursday night games, but Corey Davis is where it's at. Get him in your lineups. I love Corey Davis this week, and I think he's going to put up good production out of your flex spot. It was probably where you have to have him. And if Corey Davis is out there, free agent, maybe you don't want to play him this week. I understand if you don't. Corey Davis is the guy that's going to win you a playoff game or 2. I really think so. I'm still on it, and I'm sticking with it here. What do you think?
I like Corey Davis, actually, and I was just looking for the numbers. I can't seem to find them quick enough. But I believe he's got 10 targets in the past 2 games. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, he's got 4 of 10 last week for 48. I mean, I think he just missed a touchdown last week. The targets are there. I mean, there's no doubting that. No, he's got 5 targets in week 9, but still. He's getting targets. The opportunities are there. I agree. I think he has the opportunity for a big game. My only concern is that Pittsburgh
they're tough.
Tough defense.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I've been waiting. I really like what I've seen from Mariota here going forward. Just waiting for the schedule to get a little bit easier, and it's going to take off. That Mariota Davis connection is going to pay off for you if you have it.
Yeah, and
if you're not already out of your league.
If Mariota can do some running this week, I think it's going to help open that pass game a lot.
Yep.
Which he started running a little bit last week. I think he's going to be a little healthier this week. I can definitely see him, if he gets a couple good runs, man, they're going to have to put a spy on him or do something, and it's going to open up the pass game a lot more.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I'm kind of excited for our deep sleepers at wide receivers here. Your guy and my guy. Your guy's probably going to outperform my guy. However, I bet you another lunch on it.
Jesus. How many lunches are we doing?
I don't know. I can eat lunch now. Lunch is my favorite meal of the. You know, in Nebraska, they don't call it lunch; they call it dinner.
Oh,
Yeah, I swear. And then supper is dinner. Dinner is lunch. Supper is dinner.
why would they do such a stupid thing?
That's what they call it. I'll tell you what. It was like 12, 1 o'clock, and they're like, we're going to go get some dinner. Freaked me out for like the first week, and then the second week I asked. I'm like, man, you guys really eat dinner this early? And they're like, well, you guys call it lunch. And I was like, oh, really? Yeah. Now you know. The more you know. And no, I did not just get that off of Snapple Can. Anyways, deep sleeper wide receiver, who you got this week, Jay?
Dontrell Inman, who was picked up by the Chicago Bears a few weeks ago. He led the team with 6 catches last week on 8 targets, 88 yards, no touchdowns. I think he's the best receiver in Chicago right now. And I mean, he's going to get targets. They're going to probably be playing from behind most of the rest of the season. I mean, I really don't know much to say about him.
I just gun call.
He's the best receiver in Chicago, and
They didn't trade for him for no reason.
yeah, I agree. And Trubisky's got to throw the ball to somebody, right?
Yep. And I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret of mine. We were doing our dynasty rookie draft, and I get a text message from my father. They call me Joey D. Joey D, I don't know who to take. I said, really? That's not good. We've had all off-season practice. He goes, my guy I want is gone. I said, okay. He goes, what do you think? You know what I told him? Well, you know, because of our production meeting, but it's D.D. Westbrook.
No, I actually know this because I tried picking him up 2 weeks ago when he came back off of IR, and he told me the same story. And I was like, how did your dad know about D.D. Westbrook?
Right here. D.D. Westbrook's pretty tough at Oklahoma. He's a little slot guy over the middle. I think with Allen Hurns out, I think he's going to slide right in. I don't know if he plays this week, but I think D.D. Westbrook is a sneaky stash in dynasty leagues, or not even dynasty leagues, PPR leagues. Not so much in standard scoring, but I think he's going to be right there. I think he's a real sneaky play for next year, coming off the injury. I loved him in college and at the combine and everything that I'd seen. When I'm watching the scouting combine, I try to go into it with an open mind and a clean slate, and I write down the guys that I think look good, and then I go from there. And to be honest with you, if I don't like them at the scouting combine, I don't even consider drafting them here going forward. And then I just put, basically, if I like the team that they go to, they get a star. If I don't, they get an X. He got a star for me, and I think that now it's his time to shine. I think he gets maybe 5 catches, 50 yards if he plays this week. I think going forward, you could do worse than having D.D. Westbrook on your team. That's definitely a stash that you need to have, need to get into your lineups. And it's somebody that is going to help you out. I mean, hey, if you had, there's a lot of wide receivers got hurt, a lot of different things that have gone on. And hey, like I said, it is what it is. I liked him in college. Another guy I liked in college. We're going to shift over to our tight ends here real quick. Another guy me and Jason talked about actually a lot. Who's got probably nobody's talked about. That's Adam Shaheen. I really liked him at the combine. I really liked everything that I saw on him. Zach Miller's now out. With that being said, Trubisky's got to throw it to somebody. He's a big body, former basketball player, I do believe. He's going up against Detroit. He's 12th, against tight ends. He's a dark horse, deep sleeper. But who knows? If you got a spot, tight end is so shallow. Once it gets past the top 4 or 5 guys, it's any given Sunday with anybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to throw a dart, hit Adam Shaheen, and what's a rookie quarterback's best friend?
Tight end.
Tight end. Adam Shaheen.
Yeah. Did you skip your other one, or?
I didn't skip. I just want to start with Shaheen.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm going to start with Vernon Davis.
Who?
Vernon Davis.
Is Jordan Reed playing? Do you still go with Vernon Davis if Jordan Reed plays?
Honestly, yeah. I think so. He's not as good, but he's still going to give you production. He still gives you an opportunity to touchdown. The last 2 weeks without Reed, he's giving you 13 for 148. I mean, you had a touchdown in one of those games, man. That's a monster game from a tight end.
Yeah.
Even the previous games with Reed, I mean, he's not giving you anything, less than 3 or 4 catches for, 40, 50, 60, 80 yards. I mean, it's solid production. I mean, Vernon Davis is just reliable tight end, always has been. I mean, even if Reed is playing, there is a chance that he plays one series and he's out. I mean, it's...
Yeah, no,
I don't think you can count on him at this point. I think Davis... I mean, if you got a better option, if Reed is playing, then don't play Davis. Obviously, go with your better option.
But there's times where Reed's in it and Vernon Davis catches that 50-yard pass down the middle of the field and just goes. So, I mean, I got Vernon Davis, to be honest with you. I got Jordan Reed in a couple leagues. He's underperformed for me this year. And the only 2 tight ends that I have now are Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis. I'm going to play whoever's playing.
Yeah.
I mean, for a tight end class, if Jordan Reed's not there, I'd say Vernon Davis is arguably a top 7 tight end every week. You really can't go wrong with that. For the peanuts that you gave up to get him, I mean, he's definitely a good play. I like the Vernon Davis thing. I wouldn't really trade a Devin Funchess for him, but hey, if you're hurting, you're hurting.
That's solid.
Very solid.
It's a solid trade.
He was hurting. He was trying to beat me. It didn't happen.
There you go.
Anyways, Travis Kelce.
Is that another Chief?
It's another Chief. That's another Chief. I don't think that any tight end outscores Travis Kelce this week. I think Travis Kelce gets 10-plus catches, goes off against the Giants. Giants are ranked 32nd against opposing tight ends, just like they are quarterbacks. That Alex Smith, the Travis Kelce combination this week, it's going to be deadly. Deadly. Who do I play in Dynasty?
I don't know. But
Goldhawk. Text Goldhawk right now and tell him that he is going to feel the Kansas City Chiefs threat. Yeah, I'm going to do it. We're going to get some flack for this group.
yeah. Well, anyways,
who's your other guy?
Julius Thomas.
Oh, he's been hot.
Yeah, I mean, I touchdown in each of the last 2 games. I mean, he only had 2 receptions for 8 yards last night, but got a touchdown. It was actually a shovel pass to him, and I like the design of the play. It was a good play call. It shows that they are trying to get him the ball. I think last night the play calling, besides that one play, didn't seem to do much for the team. I think the game just got away from him. I mean, we all know what Julius Thomas can do. And I mean, Tampa Bay is not the best matchup for tight ends.
And Cutler seems to be looking at JT.
He does. I think he's looking a lot more. I mean, he's got 8 targets 2 weeks ago, 5 targets last night. So he's got targets definitely going up for him. I mean, I think he's a solid player. I think he's going to keep producing. He's going to get better and better. I think as the season goes on, he gets more comfortable in the offense. They find more ways to incorporate him into the offense.
And like we were saying with tight end, I mean, it's not very deep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, if your tight end gets you a touchdown, you're pretty happy about it. And I'm sure Julius Thomas is still out there in a lot of leagues. I definitely said it too, by the way. Just so you know. Well, anyways, we're going to continue here. We're going to keep this ball rolling, and we're going to get to my favorite time of the show. That is our defensive stream of the week.
Defensive stream of the week.
That's actually kind of catchy. I'm probably going to watch this a couple times, save that as my ringtone every time you call me. But yeah, defense you like this week?
The Buffalo Bills.
Get out.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Nightmares.
Basically, look, I mean, they were the number 10th overall defense going into this week where they got smashed by the Saints. I get it. But they're playing the Chargers, whose offense has been okay. Phillip Rivers might be out. If he's out, I definitely like them as a sleeper. They still get their turnover, man. They lead the league in turnover. Well, they did. I haven't checked it since last week. It's the Saints game, which they still got a turnover in that game. So they lead the league in turnover ratios. I mean, and that's what's going to win you on defenses, especially if you don't play in a negative points league for defenses. Those turnovers and sacks, that's just going to accumulate points for you. I like their matchup. The Chargers don't scare me. They are in LA, which, I mean, doesn't really play to their disadvantage, but I guess it's kind of an advantage for Chargers. But even though there's probably going to be more Bills fans there than Charger fans, because that's just the way it goes in LA.
You think the Stringer will be there?
I hope so.
They should sign him.
They should, just to bring him every game, man. Ed Lowe Simon, just a little halftime streaking. Good for that guy.
Yeah, God bless him. I mean, I've seen a lot of streakers in my day. That dude, he took the cake. Full nude. You got to pay extra around here for that.
Yeah.
Anyways, defensive stream of the week is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. The only reason why I'm saying this is I think Tyron Smith's going to be out again. You've seen what what's the guy's name? For the Falcons, had 6 sacks.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name. Anyways, Derek Barnett, 2 words. The rookie from Tennessee, that he's going to go off if...
What's his name at 6, and his backup came in and got one.
Yeah. I mean, it's just... Jim Schwartz, I'll tell you right now, he's got to be licking his chops if Smith doesn't play. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a left tackle just get benched for playing that bad.
Would you hear Romo?
No, I didn't.
Or not Romo, Aikman. He said it's just an embarrassment, and that's got to be the worst offensive line play that I've ever seen from one player in all of his years of watching football.
Good luck, Chaz Green. And I seen the left tackle came out and said...
He owned it.
He said the loss is on me.
He owned it.
That's pretty bad.
It doesn't help any, but he owned it.
Well, hey, I mean... well, if you think about it, the dude's got the easiest job in the NFL. Tyron Smith is like, what, never missed a game in how long? He's one of the best left tackles. So you got to back up in. He's like the Alex Moran of left tackles.
Joe Thomas.
Do you know Alex Moran? Not a Blue Mountain State fan? That's something that we have not talked about yet on this show, and that's Blue Mountain State. You've never watched Blue Mountain State? It's like the best TV show of all time.
I don't know about that.
Do you got Netflix? Just watch one episode of Blue Mountain State. The first one, dude, you'll be hooked. Chris is not going to like it, though.
We'll see.
No, she won't.
Alright.
A lot of women. Good show, though. Watch Blue Mountain State. Alex Moran's one of my favorite players of all time. You gotta love him. And Thad Castle, oh my god. Wait till you see the kicker. I can't even tell you about it. Let us know if you guys Blue Mountain State. I'm telling you, it's one of the best shows ever made. I mean, it's one of the best football shows I've ever seen.
Playmakers. That was my favorite.
No, this blows that away.
Have you seen Playmakers?
Yeah, this is better.
The old ESPN one?
Mm-hmm.
They made him take it off the air?
Yep, this is better. This is way better. This is about a college football team.
I know what it's about. I just haven't seen it.
They only show, I think like there was like 3 or 4 seasons. They only showed one football game. That's awesome.
That's not a very good football show.
Oh, it is awesome. It's all football. Just do me a favor. Just watch the one that says Vision Quest. Anyways, Philadelphia Eagles. That's your stream of the week. My name's Joey. This is Jason. We're basically excited to bring you our Week 11 rankings. Make sure
11. We're closing in on those playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I know with us, most of our leagues playoffs are Week 13.
Man, yeah, I'm right on the cusp here, making playoffs in all my leagues. I'm making a push in 1. I'm making a push in 2, and I'm actually kind of going downhill in 1. So I got to turn around to that one and keep pushing in the other one. So
You know what I figured out yesterday?
I don't.
I clinched the #1 spot in our Dynasty League. Doesn't matter. I'm house money right now. First round bye. Are you going to join me?
It's good for you, but you kind of got to win in the playoffs.
Oh, we got to win 1 game. I'm in the championship.
We'll see.
Anyways, I'm Joey, like we said. That's Jason.
I'm Jason.
And check us out on
Joey.
Facebook. Yeah, I'm Joey, not Greg,
Jason.
Joey. Check us out on Facebook, J&J Fantasy Flyers, or on Twitter.
At Fantasy Flyers.
Also, check out our website, jnjfantasyflyers.com. You can download the podcast version of this so you don't have to see our ugly mugs. And then check out our rankings and our sleepers. These should be up, good to go here for you. And if you have any questions, there is a Contact Us page. Let us know your questions, and we'll address them for you as fast as we can. Other than that, good luck on your Week 11 matchups.
Well, good luck.